Welcome to the Undrafted Armchair Quarterbacks. We're Jim and Joe, lifelong friends, lifelong fans, bringing you fan-driven sports talk the way real fans do. No overpaid experts, no scripted analysis, just honest takes on the games, players, and the big stories shaping sports right now.
We love having you be a part of it. Drop your comments, questions, and takes. We'll read them all and bring them into future shows. So please hit like, subscribe, and join our conversations every week for free on YouTube, Spotify, Instagram, and now TikTok. Joe, how was your Thanksgiving?
Seems like it's been 3 weeks since we've been on our podcast. The Undrafted Armchair QBs were back in action. Thanksgiving was fantastic. No one got hurt, so that was the bar we set, and mission accomplished.
Excellent. I'm glad to hear that. So, did you have any backyard classics versus any cousins twice your size?
So first of all, a lot to be thankful for, and I do my best to remember what the holiday's all about, and I'm very blessed. So a lot to be thankful for. Um, Today's Thanksgiving is a little different. So it was just the four of us, wife and the two kids who came home from college. Whenever that happens, because mom says, kids are home from college, so we're on complete lockdown. I'm just thankful that this year she got really comfortable zip ties. So it was a lot easier to, just to be together, a lot more comfortable to be together. I will say using the restroom is a little bit awkward, but little sleep mask, headphones, not a problem. So it was a great Thanksgiving, just the family. 4 days of closeness.
Yes, that's the best part of Thanksgiving is being with family. No doubt about it. And
Agreed. And we continued our family tradition, well, my tradition of naming our turkey. I name it afterwards just because it gives me a better feel for what to name it. This year, I named it Napoleon because I clearly got the bony part. And so that was this year's name. So there you go.
next
And
year it turns out better. We were down
yeah,
with the grandkids down in the Keys for Thanksgiving, and that turkey came out perfect. So I
beautiful.
can try to send you some.
Too late. We'll do it next year. You and I both grew up in Miami, and we've never really, reviewed our Thanksgivings over the years. But it was kind of interesting how growing, 84 degrees on Thanksgiving Day, typically, you just don't quite get the Hallmark card, fire burning in the background, big, big turkey, every fixing inside you can imagine. But we still enjoyed Thanksgiving, and I remember even many times you and I would participate in turkey bowls since we were, a bike ride away from our houses. And, fond memories of Thanksgivings in Miami. It's great. Love it.
Yep, at the grandparents' house they had zoysia grass, and my uncle told us that that's from the Orange Bowl. Your
Mm,
grandfather had that put in here, so we thought we were playing on Orange Bowl turf.
yeah.
But then our aunt
Yeah.
told us, "Don't believe anything your uncle says."
Well, that was much later. At the time, I was, Mercury Morris or Jim Kick, and you were, Larry Zonka. It was all good. I do remember playing in our front yard. You remember the middle of the yard, the grass would look like old Shea Stadium, where it was all like worn out and dirt in the middle, and then grass around the outside.
Yeah.
I didn't have an old man, so luckily I wouldn't get yelled at for that. But I do remember like we would play Nerf football, and the sidewalk was midfield, which was a first down, and then the umbrella tree was a touchdown, and the driveway was the other touchdown. And I remember literally telling you or my brother, go deep, go deep. It's third down and forever. We'd throw a Hail Mary, and someone would catch it, and it would take 20 minutes to run down the field, breaking tackles, getting to the umbrella tree for a touchdown. And I literally, years later went back to moving out, when I was 18. I didn't go back for years, and I went back. And it's funny looking at that front yard now, the long bomb to get a first down was literally like a 6-yard pass. It's like, I mean, literally you could have underhanded it, and just perspective. But good times, Turkey Bowls galore. I remember those days. It was fantastic.
Part of the best memories right there. Absolutely.
100%.
Yes,
100%.
sir.
Speaking of turkeys and bowls and pigskin, did we mention pigskin? We did now. Um, Before we get into football, I just want to mention one thing, just to show that we are worldly in our sports views.
Yes.
No, we're not talking about cricket or badminton today. We are talking about a brief one sentence on the NBA.
Yes.
I just want to point out the fact that while everything's going on in the NBA, whether you're watching it yet or not, they've had in-season tournament already and all this. I just want to remind people that the Oklahoma City Thunder, they are 21-1, by far the best team in the NBA, and they possess the number 6, 9, and 14th pick in the upcoming draft. Don't know much about the business side of things, whether they can keep those, but think about that. A 20-1 team has 3 picks in the top 15. You would think that's normally reserved for the bottom dwellers. No, anyways, so that's just something that caught my attention. So we'll keep an eye on the Thunder. Can they get to 70 wins? That's the benchmark. I think that means, big time dynasty, at least for that year. So
Glad
we'll
you
keep an
brought
eye on them.
glad you brought that up. That's pretty amazing. And then their most critical pundits in Oklahoma City are going to say, "How did they lose that one game?"
Yeah, they already have. I
Oh,
mean, what were you thinking? Yeah, I know. It's crazy, but yeah, hey, kudos to them. All right. There were some football games, college football games on this Saturday. We, picked a few to talk about. I think everyone in the football world would talk about these three. There were some, not so important games, but these three were, had meaning. So what do you think? We had Texas and Texas A&M.
yeah, Texas A&M. What happened? They flopped.
Yeah, I would say more than flopped. They didn't. I mean, they went kind of from unbeatable. They should be number one in the country to wow. They look really pedestrian, and I mean, I'm sure some of that was Texas, but eesh,
Yeah. Manning did look a lot more effective, seemed a lot more poised. So kudos to Sarkeesian on that, getting that team prepared to take out Texas A&M. Home field
yeah,
advantage a little bit. I think so too. So
100%.
yeah,
Um, you know, Texas defense. I don't think they were known for their defense. 3 second half points. A&M 0 touchdowns in their last 5 drives. I'll be honest with you. They did not look like you know get a bye and dominate in the playoffs here. They kind of look really average. But hey, speaking of average, how about Georgia putting up 16 on Georgia Tech? Woo!
yeah, that's a
Yeah.
barn burner offense right there.
Uh, yeah, especially when you consider it was Georgia Tech, not saying that Georgia Tech wasn't playing for a lot, non-conference game. I guess, not to be embarrassed since their last 2 games, Georgia Tech against Boston College and Pittsburgh gave up like an average of 40 points. I'm not joking. Georgia Tech's defense was horrendous, and I doubt they fixed all that. So this says way more about Georgia's offense than Georgia Tech's defense. Yikes. I mean,
That's a good point. And we're going to be looking at Georgia coming up. We'll do that pick this weekend in the SEC championship.
yeah, no, we will. We're going to be having a Friday show, and we'll be looking at all these games coming up. I will say this: neither team had a play over 25 yards. I'm sorry, was I yawning? Yeah.
Too
Anyways,
much turkey.
and then how about whoa, Alabama just dominating in a 27-20 win against Auburn. How did Alabama move freaking up in the CFP with this performance? I have no idea.
Is there some anger in your voice?
It's disgust. And we'll get to the CFP in a minute, but it's disgust. You know, and oh my gosh, here he goes again. But I'm telling you, Alabama squeaks out a 27-20 win against Auburn, who's what? Have they won 5 games or 6 games this year? I'm not sure. Auburn committed 3 penalties on potential scoring drives. Alabama's 27 points, 14 were directly from Auburn mistakes. Auburn, I think, outgained them and had the game's longest play, but and then what I see from the CFP and the ESPN headlines is, and I'm sorry, Alabama fans, but this is true. It says, you know, Alabama finds a way to win. When Miami dominates, Virginia Tech by 2.5 touchdowns, the headline is Miami survives scare. It's just I'm disgusted at this whole thing. But Alabama looked like crap against Auburn. Auburn could have won this game easily. So hey, whatever.
One of
Any
our,
comments on the game itself?
and I had a point to, sorry about that. One of our Spotify listeners, his name's Joe S. So we'll call him Joe Spotify. Said,
Love it.
SEC bias, anyone?
Yeah, I know. I know. And Joe, are you in the SEC? No. But it's obvious, and whether you want 6 teams in there or 7, hey, just bring the whole SEC into the CFP. Let them play their own tournament. But all kidding aside, man, that Auburn looked, you know, Auburn's not good, and they made Alabama look, lucky to win that
It
game,
was
and yet
interesting.
they jump over Notre Dame in the CFP. I guess we're talking about the CFP, and nothing really changed, nothing really shocker, just Notre Dame and Alabama switching was very interesting to everyone. Why? How? What for? And then the committee spokesman, who's I'm just getting sick of listening to, quite frankly, says, well, after that, after Alabama, showed grit, hanging on and winning that game, that it's like, what the hell are they talking about?
Ghosts of Bear Bryant appeared.
It's sad. We'll see what happens on Sunday. My only takeaway from the CFP, presentation, the show about a show, was, the commissioner was asked very point blank by what's his name from ESPN, who I think did a great job on the couple of questions he asked, and one of them was, so, in years past, these conference games don't really matter. Now, it could help somebody, by winning, but it couldn't hurt somebody from losing. And he said, not so fast. And then the commissioner said, when he asked him, are idle teams like Notre Dame, teams that aren't going to a conference championship, historically, they're locked where they are because they have no chance to improve or not because they don't go to a championship game. And he said, not so fast. Yes, they can still move based on other things or these games happening. So this isn't your dad's, AP coaches poll, nor is it your, uncle's, BCS. This is a whole new thing where the committee is literally recruiting teams for a 12-team playoff that's going to give them the best show. So we'll see.
Yeah, the CFP, everyone's talking about it. It's ad nauseum almost to this point, but it's a television show and they're out for ratings, period.
Yes,
That's it.
that's. I think you're right. Well, we'll see. And by the way, I'm looking forward to some of these conference games. The last couple of years, they weren't, other than a good football game, they weren't really impactful as far as meaning of the games. But with the commissioner saying that, hey, I'll be watching Georgia, Alabama, because they moved up and jumped Notre Dame, but they're still at number 9. Will a loss push them back behind Notre Dame? Um, will an Alabama loss make Miami move up to say number 11, and then Notre Dame and Miami's head to head can actually be compared because they'll be next to each other, which is apparently the reason that hasn't been. Um, I don't know. Some of these conference games could mean something.
Everybody's going to be watching that selection show at noon on Sunday.
Yeah,
I'll be
yeah.
there.
I'll be there as a Miami fan. I mean, I don't know if I should be there or not, but yeah, I'll be there just to see what happens. I'll leave you with this. Somebody who, not Heather Dench, but somebody else who's in the know, said they know exactly what they're doing. They jumped Alabama over Notre Dame, thinking that BYU is going to lose to Texas Tech. BYU is one spot ahead of Miami. So in that loss to Texas Tech, especially a blowout, which happened last time, Miami jumps over BYU. What does that mean? What does that do? That puts Notre Dame and Miami right here. And now the head-to-head matters. Same record. Arguably, Miami has better victories than Notre Dame. Miami jumps Notre Dame, pushes Notre Dame out, and then blah, blah, blah. And as soon as I hear that, I'm like, what committee is going to push Notre Dame out and put Miami in? And I'll tell you, there's one entity that might do that, and that's Las Vegas. Apparently, Miami would move the needle 15 times more than the traditional Notre Dame because Notre Dame's kind of getting yawned. Hey, let's just go win, 10 games and be in the playoffs. I don't know. It's crazy.
Too many teams, too few spots. Could be.
Hmm. Wow, that sounded like philosophical.
Oh, I'm sorry. That was another comment from Joe Spotify.
Ah, well,
We
you know
listen
what?
to our listeners and our viewers, and people bring up so many great points that you don't think of, and it's crazy.
Yeah. Here's what I think. I think you go to 16, but not fully. You go to the 12-team playoff. No offense to Tulane, James Madison, whoever you are out there, but your conference championship that gets you an automatic bid into the, CFP, this non-group of 5 or non-group of 4, whatever. I love everything about your schools, but James Madison would get killed in the first round by whoever they end up playing. So just get rid of them, no offense. And then, have a play-in for the 4 teams that are on the cusp. Once you get to 3 losses, sorry, Texas, you're done. I don't care who you lost to.
Right.
But keep the 12 teams, have a 4-team play-in like they do for college basketball now, and then those 2 take up 11 and 12, and then we're good to go. Because by the time you get to 17, 18, you've got a 3-loss team probably, or a 2-loss team that really, literally didn't play anybody. I don't know. They got to fix it.
They sure do have to fix it. Please fix it.
Yeah, and speaking of fixing the ACC, if Duke beats Virginia and Miami doesn't get pushed in and somebody else gets pumped out, the ACC would literally have no one in the ACC in the CFP. The commissioner, John Swafford, is that his name?
No,
Where does he?
used to be. It's oh my goodness, I
Who is it?
forget his name
Yeah.
now.
Okay.
Jim Phillips.
Exactly. Oh, okay. Who, what, where? Where's he? He's not anywhere. He's not fighting for, hey, Virginia. He's not fighting for Miami vocally. He's not. And maybe he is behind the scene. I mean, the guy is like crickets, man. ACC's it's a joke right now, and their tie-breaking rules. 5 teams at 5-2 record, and the one that breaks the record that gets to go to the game is the 7-5. Duke. Joke. All right, we've probably spent too much time on that whole thing. I apologize, man. It's a
No,
little
no,
sweaty in here too.
no. I
I might
hear
need a
you.
tequila shot.
Get
I might need a tequila shot on that.
okay. With training wheels or no training wheels, doesn't matter. Just a straight.
I I tell people I don't use the training wheels, but of course, a little salt and lime never really hurt because I typically buy cheap tequila, so it helps me. Uh,
Just before we finish, speaking of training wheels, why is Ole Miss allowing Charlie Weiss Jr. to coach in the CFP playoff, but not Lane Kiffin? Just we'll talk more about this on Friday because it's still such a hot subject. I can't refrain from talking about it. But and Florida,
it's a mystery.
yeah, and Florida's allowing Sumrall from Tulane before he takes the helm in Gainesville. They're allowing John Sumrall to coach Tulane in their conference championship game. Why isn't Lane Kiffin being allowed by LSU? And LSU gave Weiss permission to coach Ole Miss for the CFP playoff. I just again, I need a shot of tequila now too.
Well, let's talk about that. Lane Kiffin, you know, in everybody's definition, you know, went around and behind and secretly and screwed over his current team, blah blah blah, and took the LSU job. So Ole Miss is so pissed and disgusted. Everybody's Lane Kiffin, boy, he wasn't high on a lot of people's lists of integrity. Well, he just got lower. He's off the page. So Ole Miss says, "You ain't coaching this team. Bye. You made your decision. Good riddance." Okay, so you're taking your OC with you, Weiss. He didn't, he wasn't the one who signed the deal. He's just going with Lane. And so they say, but you can coach, Weiss. You're allowed to coach. But their defensive coordinator, who's been there for, I think this is year 3, Pete Golding, he's still there. He's their new coach, but he's not coaching the team. So the guy who screwed him over, the guy who's going with him, the guy who's going with him is allowed to coach the team, no problem. The guy who's already been there, defensive coordinator, who's still there and is now the new coach, is not coaching the team. What the? I mean, I can't figure it out. It's literally it's worse than a CFP in confusing that.
And here's the kicker. This the final gem of this story. The CFP selection committee was part of the reason that Ole Miss made this move. So they wouldn't get dinged once the selection day comes.
Yeah, like
Okay.
Florida. Yeah, like Florida State did. Right, you lost your coach or your quarterback, so we're gonna drop you down 3 spots. I mean, I agree.
Yeah.
But all right, well, let's move on. We can talk about that when we talk about coaching. We can talk more. Let's talk about the NFL. You mentioned here's the kicker. We're not going to really talk about this game because it was bad, but there was some controversy about Koo's kick, and I think it's just good to show what we're talking about because this is the kick that's kind of been on people's minds. Let's just take a look at it real quick.
We have some
Here
comments
it
and
is.
some advice for him, too.
Yes. So here's the kick.
Okay.
Okay.
Here's the backswing.
Yeah. Oh. Ooh. Oh. Wow. Let's see it again. So here's the kick. Pay close attention. Here it is. It. Oh.
Oh, look at the
Oh.
arms.
Oh.
That's the
Well,
golf
let's get a close.
backswing.
Here's a close up. Here's a close. Now this is in slow mo. Okay.
That's called chunctitude when you're playing golf. Does it count as a shot?
Anyone who saw that said, "What the?" A professional kicker completely, taking a beaver pelt out of the astroturf as he comes into the ball. What the? I did not know this. But after that circulated around and, your reputation's ruined and over for the rest of your life, um, I found out that that was not like a mishit, a chunk, or whatever you want to call it. I think it was intentional. Can you believe it?
His coach told him to hit the big ball, not the little one?
No, I think what they said was Koo said, "Hey, wait, listen. As the ball got snapped, and as the snap was kind of a little bit mishandled, as I approached the ball, I noticed it was not turned set and it was still moving a little. So as I was about to kick it, I intentionally did not kick it so that it wouldn't risk getting blocked, returned for a touchdown, or field position much better. I decided just not to kick it, take the 7-yard loss, which was considered a sack, and not considered a missed field goal because he never touched it. And so that was like a strategy.
Oh, okay.
Yeah,
That
yeah.
makes no sense whatsoever. So we just accept that.
Um, that was slow motion that we saw. So in real time, it was like, boom, boom, field goals are pretty quick. Maybe as, a lay person, not a field goal kicker in the NFL, I didn't really see the ball moving around. It looked like, it might have been a little late getting to position, but again, boom, boom might have been like, whoa. And these kickers are very, specific. So I'm going to take him at his word that he missed it on purpose, but instead of just whiffing or not kicking it, kind of like an airplane, aborting the landing and just going around, the airplane would just like kill all the engines and just, stop on the runway. I think he should have just whiffed it. It would have looked better, but
And it's going to affect a lot of us who love to get out and golf. The next time you have a chip shot, are you going to be thinking about? I don't want to make fun of his name, but Young Ho Cuckoo Kachu. Are you going to be thinking about that as you're pulling your club back? Man, good luck.
No, I won't. Okay,
Okay,
let's talk about the NFL. Yes.
good.
Um, yeah. Well, we are talking about the NFL, but let's talk about real games.
Yeah,
That sounds good.
there were some great games
Um,
over the
we
weekend.
yeah, you know what? We talked about we didn't have a podcast because of Thanksgiving and family comes first,
Yes, sir.
and that's great. But we did talk on the phone about, wishing each other Thanksgiving, but we did talk about some of the games. And I remember saying this. I said this, not you. I said, "Wow, some of these games are just dogs." I mean, there's just not a lot of great games on as far as just, on paper. Was I wrong? I mean, whoa. It's these were some really good games with some very big implications in my opinion.
Yeah, which game did you want to talk about first?
Let's talk about the Packers Lions first.
There you go.
This may not be in the order in which they were on TV, but we'll go that way.
No, that was the noon game on Thanksgiving, and all I got to
Hmm.
say is Jordan Love carved. Oh, sorry, I'm just kind of winging it here, but he
Oh,
he
oh, yeah.
carved he
Whoa.
carved the Lions defense.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. He looked good. He looked like a professional quarterback. No, I'll be honest with you. The Lions look they're in trouble now. I know that like we've talked about every time their offense just doesn't look the same. But 12 penalties. Yeah, Green Bay looked like the better team, and I'll tell you, Green Bay's looking good.
They are, and the Lions. Do you think they're missing a coach that transferred from coaching them and stayed in the monster Midway and went over to Chicago? I think
I,
Detroit is really missing Peterson.
they are, and
Big
but
time.
I think it depends on what game you look. They're hot and cold. Detroit's just not consistent right now. Packers look good, and that game was at Detroit. As we all probably know, and
Yep.
losing at home, that's not what Detroit's been doing. Let's talk about the Cowboys Chiefs.
Oh, I keep looking at the standings and I see two teams that are 6-6. And it's two of the teams that are preseason, like right up there as favorites to get to the Super Bowl. The Chiefs and the Ravens. I
Yep.
I talk
Um,
about consistency. What's going on
yeah.
with Kansas City? Is it fat cat syndrome or
I don't know. I don't know. Dallas, I don't know, 2 or 3 weeks ago, it was like same old Cowboys, with the tie in there, just so typical for the Cowboys to have something like that going on. But I will be honest with you, the last couple games, Cowboys look really good. And this wasn't, Dak having to pull the game out or, you know, just leave the field, bloodied and beaten up because it took everything he had to pull Dallas over the goal line per se. When is the last time you have seen Patrick Mahomes and company have 3 scoreless drives to end the game?
oh my gosh.
It was hard to believe, but they ended the game 3 times, unable to score, and lost by 3. What does that tell you? Chiefs are in trouble. Uh, they have lost a lot of their shine. Let's talk about the Bengals Ravens. What do you think?
Oh my gosh. Uh, I'm going to state the captain obvious. Joe Burrow. The guy's a winner. He looked fantastic. What's going on with the Ravens?
Um, The Bengals offense looked better with Burrows, and not a shocker. Their defense looked really good, but I don't know how much their defense was good versus the Ravens. So the Ravens they had 5 turnovers.
Yeah.
And that's the most in 22 years or something like that. 18 years maybe. It's the most since a long time. Ravens look just disorganized and bad.
Yeah. And Lamar Jackson, I don't think is going to save him this year.
Well, he's part. I'm not saying part of the problem in a disrespectful way, but he's part of the problem. He's not doing anything great. Speaking of, you know, 14 points for the Ravens. So let's go to the offensive juggernaut in the world champion Philadelphia Eagles, who scored 15 points. Um, you know, the Bears look good.
Yeah.
Uh, Williams is definitely looking like, he earned the draft slot that he was taken in. There was some question about that. And not that rookies, in year one, Cam Ward or others don't kind of look the part, but, he looks like he's kind of getting it now. And I'm sure Ben Johnson has a lot to do with that. But Philly was 0 for 4 in red zone trips. That's a problem.
Thank you for just saying Ben Johnson. Correct me earlier. I said Peterson. I keep thinking it's Ben Peterson. Yep. There's your poise at quarterback from the
Yeah. Well,
coaching from Ben Johnson. Caleb Williams did not have super stats in that ball game.
nope.
I think he
Nope.
threw for a buck 45 or something like that.
Yep.
Nothing fancy, but they won.
Nope. Well, they won kind of handily, and oh, by the way, Williams. I mean, he's a good athlete. You kind of he's bigger, so you don't picture him like Lamar Jackson, but he, I mean, he's keeping plays alive, man. And I'll tell you something else. I think he's finally got some leadership skills going on. I'm not saying he was a punk or anything in the beginning, but him and Bo Nix remind me they're very similar. They were just kind of brash, coming out because that's where they've lived their lives in football world that way, high school, college. You get to the NFL, and that doesn't really fly. But so, anyways, he's becoming a leader too. We got to mention the Dolphins Saints because we both love the Miami Dolphins. 21-17. Wow. Okay. Hmm.
If you didn't watch the game, a lot of people don't know, but the Saints were about to tie it with a 2-point conversion. And Minka Fitzpatrick picks off the pass, takes it the distance the other way to pay dirt to give the Dolphins a 2-point play. That 2-point play saved the Dolphins to their victory because on the ensuing play, the Saints, because they were going for the 2-point conversion, had to try an onside kick. That was a perfect onside kick.
It
Love,
was perfect.
yeah, and I'm sure a lot of people have seen the highlights for it, but the way he kicked that ball, it was just perfect. And as they started to drive down the field, if it weren't for Fitzpatrick's 2-point score, all the Saints would have had to do, and they were in position to do so as the game was ending, to just kick a field goal to beat Miami. I thought for sure the Dolphins would blow that one, but
Well, they usually do lose those
they
games.
do. Yep.
Ugly. You know, I don't want to say boring, but yeah. I'm surprised we spent that much time talking about the Dolphins Saints game.
Yeah.
All right,
Fun.
Texans Colts. Texans Colts. Wow, what's going on in Indianapolis? Yikes!
I have the answer. It's called the
What?
Texans defense.
Yeah, in this game for sure.
Yeah.
Yeah,
D'Amico
Texans
Ryan.
Texans can win close games. I don't know what their offense is going to do when it comes time to start, really putting up some points because they're not going to win this way for very long against some teams. However, they are 4-1 in one-score games. They don't mind close games. So until somebody proves that wrong, but yeah, um, the Colts not quite the juggernaut that we thought.
Right. And CJ Stroud is just, to me, it's just a slump. Just doesn't seem to be. I mean, he came
He,
out on fire as a rookie, but boy,
yeah,
either
yeah. I mean,
defenses.
I don't know. Running game, receivers, I'm not sure. Yeah. Jets, Falcons in a game that if you watch this game, first of all, I'm sorry.
Thank
Secondly,
you.
you must be from New York or Atlanta and only from there because I happen to have red zone. So I saw, matter of fact, I think if you added up all the time the Jets Falcons game was on red zone, it was only during the scoring plays. So it was probably like, 21 seconds of, 7.5 hours. But anyways, 49ers, Browns, who cares? Panthers, Rams. What? The Panthers? What the heck?
Making fun of them just what, 4 weeks ago?
Everyone was.
Dave Canales
I mean,
coaching them up.
does coaching matter?
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, it does. Just like Ben Johnson for Chicago, not to go backwards, but I don't know if you saw last week, I think it was, not this last week, but the week before that, or maybe it was, I don't know. Anyway, no, they won a close game. He comes running into the locker room, takes off his shirt, and he's in good condition, but he's not, a football player. Takes off his shirt and starts just like going crazy, waving his shirt around. The team went berserk in the locker room. Uh, Coaching matters. And kudos to the Panthers, man. Bryce Young, just you couldn't have had a rougher start to your career. You got benched, so you could watch, old has been, no offense, play quarterback so you can learn. Anyways, wow. Then the Rams, no one was hotter than them, no one, and it was unbelievable on the road.
Benching was the best thing to happen to him.
I guess so.
Now
I
look,
guess so.
the kid,
Yeah,
the kid's on fire.
he's making good decisions with the ball. They don't even have like superstars everywhere, but their defense looks decent. It's unbelievable. Moving on, Jacksonville. You know, you keep looking at them thinking, I mean, okay, they're not that good. What are they, 8-4? I guess they are,
Yeah,
but great. They should be 9-3. Speaking of Houston, they just blew it against Houston a few weeks ago. But yeah, until someone proves them wrong, they keep running. Buccaneers, they're winning ugly now. I,
yeah.
I don't know, man. I don't know if they're like a legitimate SB contender, but it's kind of strange how Tampa Bay is now just winning, but you know, oh well.
The banged up Bucks, not an excuse. It's a truth. They still don't have Mike Evans back.
Sure.
Chris
Yeah.
Godwin's coming off a horrendous injury. He's trying to get healthy. Bucky Irving just came back off an injury. If they all can get healthy, then I think they become dangerous again.
Yeah.
Yep.
Agreed.
And then Drake May, speaking of on fire, what do you think about the Patriots? I just before, I'm sorry I asked the question, but I'm going to say one thing. There were two hits on that game that I know we talked about the Giants before, but about the Patriots, there were two hits that, why doesn't the NFL have targeting? I don't understand.
Uh,
Fellas?
they do. They don't call it targeting. They call it personal foul or unsportsmanlike conduct. But it's not called very often unless it's just blatant after the whistle or whatever. But yeah, I think crown of the helmet. You
Yeah.
know, it needs to be looked at just like I hate to say like college because targeting is just there's so many times the offensive player ducks down at the last minute, or I mean, there's some blatant ones, but it's too little subjective right now for me. But
Yeah, I hear you.
no, the pros got to clean it up.
Yeah, but I do have to give credit. I'm not a Patriots fan at all. I like the Red Sox, but I don't like the Patriots. But anyway, Drake May and the Patriots and Vrabel have won 10 straight games now. Who would have thunk it?
Um, I don't know. Hey,
Crazy.
by the way, he got run out. He got run out of Tennessee. What's the
Sure
difference?
did.
Quarterback. The only thing I can see is the difference is quarterback because um, everything else being equal.
Yes, sir.
I don't know. I think he's a good coach. I think he's well respected. I think his team respects him. But other than that, I mean, hey, listen. And then honorable mention games, they meant something. Broncos, Commanders. Kudos to the Commanders to put up a really good fight.
Yeah.
I think going for two is great. And then what the heck is going on in Minnesota? I don't know. The JJ McCarthy era is over, I guess.
I don't know.
Um, I don't even know why he's on the bench. I really don't know why he's on the bench. I'm not an expert, but I mean, I should have probably prepped for this show to find out why JJ McCarthy. I don't even know. Was he hurt? Did he start? I don't know. But I know one thing. Yikes. 26-0. And then the Bills needed that win. Steelers, without a healthy Rodgers, they're you know, they're middle of the pack. To- Tomlin will win. He'll go above 500 again and not have a losing season again, but all that. And then finally, my beloved Raiders. They should have done this last year. and play really hard to get a top 3 pick in the draft, which is what it looks like they're doing. Because last year, the quarterbacks coming out last year were probably a little bit better than what they are this year. We'll see. Word on the street is they're going to jump up to number 2 and pick Oregon's quarterback. I'm not saying I would be happy or sad with that right now, but anyways, it's hard to watch the Raiders right now. Firing Chip Kelly didn't do anything for them,
Uh,
so we'll see.
Boy, our post Thanksgiving, and we have to end it talking about the Raiders. Uh, I was going to tell you
I
to
know
pass the pumpkin pie, but I don't know.
it's
No,
okay.
lost my appetite.
Well, you know what? Listen, the Raiders right now are just stuffing
Ooh,
the draft collateral right now.
they should try the
Uh,
wishbone offense.
oh, hey, whoa, very nice. By the way, as I was eating Thanksgiving dinner, I was putting some gravy all over my mashed potatoes and stuffing that my wife makes, homemade stuffing,
Yum.
not nothing elaborate, just the basics. And I'm eating it, and I'm thinking to myself, why do I only have this once a year? Aside from buying new pants or not being able to get up off the couch easily or something like that, but why is stuffing once a year? Some people out there might eat it every day. I don't know, but man, that's good stuff.
Thanksgiving should be monthly.
Whew. Yeah. Okay. Yeah. All right. Yeah. That might not be a good idea. But having said that, so on Friday we'll do our upcoming weekend picks, and let's talk about the coaching carousel.
Can't wait.
I think we have a lot. I think we have a lot to talk about the coaching carousel, and maybe by the end of the week there'll be 4 or 5 more jobs filled. So we'll go from there.
Look forward
So
to it. Friday.
I look forward to it as well. So that is it for this episode of the Undrafted Armchair Quarterbacks with Jim and Joe. Thanks for checking us out and hanging with us for some real fan-driven sports talk.
Real fan driven. And don't forget, those fan driven comments are more than welcome. Bring it, folks. We love talking about it on our shows. Drop them below. We'll read them and feature them. Be sure to like, subscribe, and catch us every week for free on YouTube, Spotify, Instagram, and now TikTok or wherever you listen. See you Friday, Mr. Joe.
Look forward to it. 2 days. Take care, Jim.
Thank you.
All right. Love you, brother. See you,
Love you
man.
too.